Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the nuts and bolts of the single plane swing. We've covered the lead hand, we've covered the trail hand. Today we're going to talk about the backswing. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. One of the things about the single plane swing is that it's the natural motion of the body. What I mean by that is when I set up on the single plane, that is the extension of the club into its single plane, it's going to return back to that plane of impact, right? So the spacing of the club from my body is what we call the single plane alignment. It's a natural spacing. If you handed a kid a stick and you said, I want you to take the stick and hit that object on the ground, he's going to point the stick in the proper space from that object and try to hit the object. So this is the natural motion of striking a ball on the ground with a stick. Now, having said that, when we create the address position, which we've been talking about in the first two videos, and we have the proper spacing, which we will get into our setup, we can then discuss the plane of the backswing, because the plane of the backswing should actually occur naturally through the rotation of the body. Now, let me just kind of walk you through as I do this. I want to walk you through how I feel about the backswing, the motion of the backswing, and how I'm producing it without really thinking about it. So when I get into my address, and remember, I don't want to go through all the details here, but I get my proper lead arm position, proper trail hand position, and the tilt of the body, which is obviously very important. Notice that from this tilt, if I just turn, see that turn? You see how the club naturally moves into a path. It's like if I had the club attached to my body right here, and I just turned. And why am I attaching it there? Because that's the alignment of the lead arm. We call that the pivot point. If I just turn, see the natural arc of the club moving to the inside? There it is, right there. So how is that being produced? And I don't want to talk about full backswing right now. I simply want to talk about this movement away, because once I get this proper path going away, I just let the club come up and then it's on plane. The plane occurs naturally because of the motion and position of my body. And I want you to remember that statement, because I see too many people trying to manipulate the position of the club, manipulate the swing, high, low, around. And I don't want you to think manipulation. I want you to think of where the natural movement of the club is going to go based on your positions. So if you look at the position of my address, making sure that's why it's so important to get it right, from the tilt, and I just rotate, notice the natural movement of the club. It moves on this arc to the inside. There's that movement of the club. Now, all I got to do to complete that motion is fold my arm. See, my arm just folds up. So as I'm rotating, I fold the arm. And you'll notice that the club will move exactly on plane every single time. As I do that, I'm gonna hit one more. And here's what's interesting about it for me. If you've seen me play on the course, you'll see me do that a lot more on the channel. I rehearse that. It's part of my pre-shot routine. One of the things as you practice and you get better and better at motion, for me as a player, and you've seen me play some on the channel, and I'm a relatively good player, but when you see me do this, I make a little rehearsal like this when I play. You see that little rehearsal? This is what I call locking it in. I rehearse that first motion, because repetition is the mother of skill. If you repeat something over and over again, that's what you continually will learn how to do. So you'll see me when I practice, I'll step in and I'll do a little bit of a rehearsal. See, there's that natural motion. And I say natural, it's a natural movement to the inside. And then all I gotta do is fold the arm up, and that completes my backswing. So one of the things that I do, because this is a natural motion, and that first, and the club moving to the inside. And one of the things that you see so much is that people say, well, is it straight back or whatever? I don't even think about it. You got to keep the motion natural, as far as, because of the position, there's a spatial relationship of the way the club is referencing the body. That spatial relationship is so important because that's exactly what we talked about earlier, is having that same space at impact. So we're maintaining this. Now, what I do, and you've seen me do this when I play and I go to the golf course and I play, is I rehearse this first movement. Now, repetition is the mother of skill, right? So repetition is this. Repetition is when the more you do it, the better you get at it. Well, people say, well, okay, I practice this obviously on the range, but I also rehearse it on the course. It's part of my pre-shot trigger, because that pre-shot trigger is a rehearsal and then I hit. And that's the part of the rhythm of playing great golf to me. So what I recommend for so many people is, once you get your space, right, address your spatial relationship set up, do a little rehearsal, and all I do is then just reproduce that motion and swing. And it's keeping the spatial relationship throughout my swing, which is the whole concept of the single plane, as far as starting and then getting the space to work out and then returning the space and then hitting the center of the club face. This is foundational to what we're teaching in the single plane swing. But notice, and I want to kind of back up one little step here, this whole process started from address, grip, position of the body. Now this first movement works to the inside, then I complete the motion at the top of the swing. So you'll notice how this all works in the proper order, which is a main part of what you're learning here with the swing model of the single plane swing. Thanks for joining me. By the way, thumbs up, click that bell icon for notifications. Anytime I produce a video, you'll get notified that that's on the channel. I'll see you in the next video.